We're joined now by psychotherapist Gillie Jenkinson, who specialises in working with people who have left cults. Thank you so much for joining us, Gillie. What do you do about Alex now? What would you be saying to Alex? What should happen to him in the next few days, weeks and months as he tries to adapt to his life back in normal society?
Yeah, well, I mean, my speciality is working with people who leave high demand groups or cults. So I can't really comment on the exact situation that he's in because there isn't quite enough information yet. But if it's a high demand group or cult, he needs to...
Sorry, Gillie, what do you mean by high demand?
Well, a group that's expecting full-time or more than full-time dedication, where the parents are required to do the work of the cult or the mission of the cult, and so very often they actually don't concentrate on the needs of the children. So often those who grow up in cults are neglected. Sometimes, you know, there's actual abuse because they're not properly protected in those settings, because the aim of the whole group is to fulfill whatever aim that group has. It could be political, it could be psychotherapeutic, it could be religious.
So how would you be helping Alex now?
Yeah, so if Alex felt that he'd left a cult, then I would be wanting him to just consider the situation, to help him to understand the dynamics of the situation that he's left. Very often people have doubts before they leave, and it seems from what I'm hearing that that was happening, that he was trying to plan to leave. This happens to a lot of people. And so I offer something called post-cult counselling, which is a psychotherapeutic approach specifically designed for people who are leaving cultic, coercive or high control groups. And my book, you can see it behind me as well, is Walking Free from the Trauma of Coercive, Cultic and Spiritual Abuse, a workbook for recovery and growth.
And so Gillie, you yourself were in a cult and escaped from it in your youth, didn't you? Just tell us what that was like. And one of the elements I've been very interested to read is Alex seems to carry a huge, like you were suggesting, seems to carry a lot of guilt for abandoning his mum, even though obviously it should be the other way around, and not wanting to get her into trouble.
Yes, this is very common for children whose parents joined the cult and then they're actually left with the fallout from their parents' dedication. So yes, it's very common. And so, you know, covering up, it's not necessarily lying, although in the press it's sort of saying lying, but, you know, wanting to protect them, not wanting to get them in trouble, but at the same time needing to do what they genuinely need to do for themselves.
And what about your experience, Gillie?
So I joined a cult. So I wasn't taken in by my parents. I joined back in the 70s. There was a big sort of community movement going on around the world. It was really the in thing in the 70s. And I became a Christian and I became really quite radicalized, not in the sense of terrorism, but in a sense of having a very, very restricted, very narrow mindset. It was very unbalanced. And I gave myself 100% to a group, which actually then became incredibly abusive. You know, so these things can start off with very good intentions. They don't always start off with good intentions by any means. But yeah, and so leaving, in fact, my group actually disbanded. So that was my get out. But many groups, you know, people are having to leave. And when they're young, many people who I've seen have left in their teens because they're beginning to individuate. They're beginning to mature as individuals and beginning to realize actually they don't buy into what their parents are into, and that's normal, that's how it should be, but they're very vulnerable when they leave. And I just want to say that I've been involved with the Family Survival Trust, really wanting to press the British government to change the laws so that coercive control in groups, not just coercive control in one-to-one relationships, becomes a legality. Because I noticed the French government have responded very quickly to this situation, and what they call cultish deviation. It's a translation from French. So, it's a big problem in this country, and we really, really need to see something done about it.
Yeah,
We really do. We
really
really do.
interesting. Gillie Jenkinson, thank you so much.